In October of 2025, 5 childhood friends returned to the isolated northeastern hills of India. They had been separated for 24 years, but they were reconvening to form the board of a new venture, Where 90s. Their mentor and silent observer was Shekhar, a man who had recently woken from a 30-year coma. He didn't direct the meetings, but his presence in the room was a constant, living reminder of the 1995 world the company was trying to bridge with the present day. Their objective was the renovation of the Checkpoint property, a historic farmhouse and estate. The site was burdened with decades of local history and personal guilt, and the board's task was to modernize it into a high-end resort without erasing its specific atmospheric soul. This was only possible because of the board's unique history. Having spent their adolescence connected through early internet chat rooms and late-night gaming, they had developed an intuitive, professional rhythm. They functioned like a single unit, anticipating each other's needs before a single word was spoken. Success depended on a delicate balance, honoring the heavy, immovable weight of the property's past while applying the ambitious, technological pragmatism required for its future. Meera, the board's architect, insisted on a policy of reinforcement. Rather than clearing the site, she strengthened the original stone, reinforced the historic timber, and preserved its 1940s character. She even integrated the property's most hidden features, lighting a newly discovered cave system with soft amber hues to let the natural rock become a centerpiece of the renovation. However, the eastern slope was a liability. For 30 years, an untended orchard of massive, shadowed trees had been compromising the hill's drainage. If left alone, the entire site faced the threat of erosion and structural failure. Meera made a pragmatic choice. She cleared the trees that left the deep, extensive network of roots in the ground to stabilize the slope. She then built the museum's foundation directly on top of this ancient, subterranean structure. This slope became the home of the Where 90s Museum, the property's most digitally dense and technologically advanced installation. During testing, the team discovered a technical anomaly. The museum's AR projections and processing speeds consistently exceeded the hardware's own specifications. Diagnostics showed no errors, yet the system performed at its peak only within the footprint of the old orchard. The board didn't look for a mystical explanation. They simply noted that their most advanced, future-facing tech seemed to find its highest stability when literally anchored to the preserved roots of the past. By late 2026, the project hit a crisis. At a critical site meeting, the momentum of the renovation stalled over a fundamental disagreement between architecture and finance. Meera refused to move the lift shaft, avoiding cuts into the non-negotiable original cave wall. But Lakshmi countered. The required modifications would trigger a catastrophic budget overrun and a 3-week delay. The room fell into a tense deadlock. It was a clash between two highly competent leaders who were both objectively right within their respective disciplines, leaving no obvious room for compromise. This is the danger of high-stakes preservation, the moment when the duty to the past becomes an immovable barrier to the survival of the future. Ram intervened. He didn't take a side or raise his voice. Instead, he applied the same pattern recognition skills he had used for years in their shared strategy games. He studied the physical blueprint, analyzing the spatial layout where the cave wall perimeter and the lift footprint were colliding. He was looking for a third option that neither a purely architectural nor a purely financial lens had caught. He found it at a precise coordinate. By shifting the shaft's angle slightly, he showed how it could clear the cave wall entirely while staying within the original structural budget Lakshmi had set. The tension in the room vanished. By uncovering this intersection, Ram hadn't forced a win or a loss. He had provided a solution that allowed both Meera and Lakshmi to be correct. True leadership in complex environments isn't about choosing between conflicting truths, but about synthesizing them into a more complete resolution. As the meeting broke, the board walked back across the property. The northeastern hills were bathed in the late afternoon golden hour, a light that softened the hard lines of the ongoing construction. Ram and Lakshmi naturally drifted a half step behind the rest of the group. It was a familiar arrangement. The same side logic they had instinctively used since they were children sitting in their parents' offices. In that quiet space, the support Ram had shown in the meeting took on a different weight. After 20 years of digital connection and professional collaboration, the silent understanding between them had finally become a concrete fact. That is the core of structural integrity. Whether you are restoring a heritage site or building a lifelong partnership, success is found at the intersection where the weight of history and the needs of the present finally align.